friends, welcome to Self Myofascial Release. Today we are going to release various muscles in our body that get achy using balls. So if you have tennis balls, that works perfectly fine. I'm going to be using these silicone balls by Rad, and I have two of them, so if you could have at least two balls, that would be great. And then I've got a smaller ball, so some of those plastic ones that kids get at party favors work really well too. So if you'll grab the balls that you have at hand and come join me on your mat, I think you're going to get some relief here. I've been doing a lot of hiking lately, and so I'm getting tension in the fascia, and we're going to go from the foot all the way up to release that tension. So this is going to be a full class. It's not going to be as long as a workshop usually is, an hour and a half to two, but it will be longer than the little snippets I have down below. If you just want to get down and dirty into a certain muscle, release it, and then move on, you can check those out. Otherwise, this is going to be a full class. So we're going to start standing, and we'll just use one ball. If you come up to stand, and you're going to place your foot on the ball. So just bring it toward the center of the foot, and then you'll press and lean into it. Use your back leg as a stabilizer. Just press and lean and hold. And I want you to breathe through this. So if this is too painful, you are going to back off a little bit on the pressure, but you do want to feel like something is happening. So there should be some discomfort here. When we've done that and the foot starts to release, we're going to go to the heel of the foot and press into the heel, and then switch to the pad of the foot, pressing down into the pad, taking nice long deep breaths here. And we're going to go from heel to toe, moving lengthwise. So we're flushing along the fascial tissues. And then we're going to come into the outer edge of the foot and the inner arch of the foot, and we can go crosswise. So shearing along the fascial lines. We have fascia all over our bodies, from our feet all the way up to our head. And along the chain, we can have all kinds of adhesions that can cause pain in the body. So just working on a few of the most common trigger points today. So when you're ready, just come off of the ball and notice already the foot that you rolled is feeling better. It's starting to ground down better. It's doing its job to send messages to the brain that you are stable in your feet. And we'll take on to the other side, just pressing into the center of the foot and breathing. So just try to hold steady here, and if it's too painful, you can kind of back off a little bit. You can go above or below that tender spot. But if you can just hold, pinning and holding, and then taking some deep breaths until the foot starts to feel relaxed. When it does that, you can move from the heel to the pad. You want to press down into the pad of the foot. And we're going to go from heel to each toe, flushing along those fascial lines. Heel to toe, heel to toe. Remember, you want enough pressure so that you feel like something is happening, but not so much pressure that you have pain. Move toward the inner arch of the foot and the outer edge. Like I said, I've been doing a lot of hiking, and that causes some gripping in the toes so that you're trying to maneuver around stones that are moving, and it makes the feet tired, and that tiredness or that ache can go all the way up the chain to your calves, your hamstrings, into your glutes and hips. So the more we can get the feet to do their job, the less aching will get up the chain into our knees and hips. All right, so already you should be feeling better here. Take a big inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees and just let the head hang here. You can grab your elbows or put your hands on your shins. Bend the knees more, and then come on down to a seat. We're going to move on to the calves now. So you can do one or both at the same time, and I'll just show you on one, so we're not doing anything behind the knee or on the ankle. It's going to be on the calf and on the outside of the calf and on the inside of the calf. So you just press down here and you can roll forward and back. You can pin and hold, pressing into a spot that feels tender. Usually on the inside of the calf, it does feel kind of tender. There is no right way to do this, so you might want to play around with the technique until you find a way that works for you. It might feel awkward at first, but you will eventually be able to find a position that works for you. So just a couple of minutes here, never wanting to spend more than 10 minutes on a certain spot. Just a couple of minutes here and there, and it's always better to come back to a spot. So you'll roll it, give it a break, let it rest, and then come back to it. All right, once we've done our calves, we're gonna move up the chain to our hamstrings. And you'll place the ball in the glute insertion where the glute meets the hamstrings. Press down, and you can roll like so. If you have two balls, you can take a wide-legged here and then just roll forward and back, taking the balls with you along your hamstrings. You can pin and hold if you find a spot. Sometimes on the inner thigh, I get some tight spots there, and I'll pin and hold. A lot of times the floor seems far away and I'm not getting enough pressure. You could take a block or even a roller, something that's going to lift up the ball, bring it closer to those spots on the legs. And you can rock side to side here, just lots of different ways to get to those adhesions. And they're just places where the blood is not moving through as well as it should. So it causes pain maybe to that spot, or maybe it refers pain to another spot. And so I know it's a lot of information. There's so much to fascia. It's now being called a sixth sense. All right, we're going to move on to the glutes. So the first part of the glute that we're going to work on is the piriformis. And our piriformis, there's two of them. They run from the sit bones across the glute. All right, so we're going to take a ball and place it in the tailbone. Lift up, place the ball in the tailbone, knees are bent. You'll cross left ankle over right knee, and then just kind of lean over to the left. As your left knee drops and your right hip lifts, you're going to feel the ball moving along that piriformis, along the glute. And it could be really, really tight, or it could be just somewhat achy, depending on how much adhesion you have in there. And you can rock side to side, or you can pin and hold. Again, if it's too much, then just back off of it. So either move the ball higher or lower so that the intensity is not as much. You can also do this standing. So when you've done the piriformis, you can do the entire glute area, taking the ball, placing it in the glute area, and bring the leg up. You can move it around, just getting that ball to move all around the glute. You can shift the ball, take the leg across, out, up, and back, kind of circling through that whole glute area. And the next place we're going is up to the TFL. Tensor fascial latte. So if this is your hip bone, you're going to go outside the hip and a little bit higher above the glute med right here. The best way to get it is if you lay on your side. So on my left side here. I'm actually laying on my left side. And the higher I stay up, the less pressure I'm going to feel. If I want to feel more, I'm going to come down here. And you can use this top leg to kind of help you guide, moving, or just laying here and relaxing, trying to relax. So the more that you grip and tense up, the less benefit you're getting. You want to relax the muscle, bring lots of blood into that fascial tissue. And fascial tissue is just muscle tissue. It's just very thin and it encompasses the entire body under your skin. But for every muscle, every bone, every organ of your body. It's moving a little bit side to side. All right, so you will do all of that on the other side, right? The calf, the hamstrings, and that right glute. But I'm going to move on, imagining that we've already done both sides of the back of the legs. We're going to come to the front of the body and work on the hip flexors and maybe even get into the deep psoas muscle. And I like to use 2 balls at once for that. So laying on the belly, you're going to place the balls right into the hip flexors there. If it's too much to have the balls, you can always wrap them in a towel or use some bigger, softer balls. So staying up high is going to be less pressure. Coming down lower is going to be more. Maybe taking the feet up and rocking side to side will also increase the pressure. You can roll forward and back. You can roll side to side. You can move the balls up or outward. And so as long as it feels good, then you can continue doing it, right? If you've got pain, then you want to back off. You never want to put pressure on any parts that are injured, on any parts that have a pulse, so not on the arteries. If you have varicose veins, you're not going to do this. And if you have high blood pressure, you are not going to constrict blood flow anywhere. All right, here we go. Moving on. You can take care of the quads here, either on your belly or seated. So we'll try on our belly first, and then I'll show you how you can do it seated. So kind of like a half pigeon. I'm taking my left knee, I'm going to bend it, and then I'm going to take the right leg and extend it and place the ball on the quad and just move up and down here on the quad. You can get on the inner and outer, and you can move the ball up or down. Or you can come up to a seat and do it. So if you take your ball here and just roll onto the quad, sometimes knee pain can be relieved by relieving adhesion right above the knee, so in the quad. All right, we have 4 muscles that encompass the quad, and one of them crosses across to the knee here. So if you've got an adhesion there, you're going to have some knee pain. Just working out on wherever it feels tense, you can work it out. All right, now that we've done both legs, we can move on to our back. So you can do this standing or you can do it laying down. So standing, you can put your balls in a sock and then throw them over your shoulder and press up against a wall. Or you can just take them without a sock and put one on either side of your spine and roll your back up and down the wall. It can also be done lying down. So I'm going to place the balls here and lay down onto my back. And I'm going to use my feet and my arms here to help me roll. This feels really good in the QL area. You can move further up the back. When you get to the shoulder, you can move the shoulder around. And then when you come up really high, you can do the traps by placing the balls right here. And then rolling side to side. This feels really good. Just that self-acupressure. It's like giving yourself a massage. You're only limited by your imagination and how you can get the balls in the spot that you need. So use your imagination, you can use the wall, you can use whatever works to get the ball into that certain spot that needs a little more help. All right, so spending as much time as you'd like on your back, you can come up and do other parts here. So I like to take the smaller ball, then I can get more into the traps here with the ball, using the ball in my hand and then the other hand on the elbow to kind of allow it to press. You can do the biceps here, the triceps, you can do the forearms, you can do the chest. You can work into the hands, rolling the ball around, especially if you use your hands a lot for work or for typing. You can use this little guy on the neck. All right, my friends, I hope you enjoyed that. If we were doing a workshop, it would be longer. There'd be a lot more things that would be involved, a little bit more learning about the different muscles of the body, but this was a quick and easy way to do an all-over body massage. You can spend more time if you'd like, or go back to those areas. Actually, I encourage you to go back to those areas if you found a spot that was very tender and that immediately elicited a pain reaction. You want to continue to go back there a few times a day and just gently working on that area until you can tolerate a little bit more. Remember, you don't want to create more pain or tension in the body. You want to do just enough so that you feel like something is happening, some more blood flow is getting in there, but not so much that you're creating more pain. So be gentle, less is always more with this technique, and use your imagination, have some fun, and share this with someone else if you enjoyed it, if it felt good in your body. And if you'd like to get a private session or maybe a longer session for a group, call me, contact me. You've got my information. Make a comment, leave me some comments or some suggestions. I hope that this was beneficial to you. I bow to you. Namaste.